Hi, my name is Renee Rizzo. This will be a teacher-facing video which will show you questioning and discussion techniques for students in alternate assessment settings and uses of Wheel of Names and Class Dojo to support student questioning and discussion. Danielson Framework 3B using questioning and discussion techniques for students in alternate assessment settings. At the highly effective level, the framework explains the teacher uses a variety or series of questions or prompts to challenge students cognitively, advance high level thinking and discourse, and promote metacognition. Students formulate many questions, initiate topics, challenge one another's thinking, and make unsolicited contributions. Students themselves ensure that all voices are heard in the discussion. So how can we provide scaffolds for higher order thinking through questioning and discussion techniques in alternate assessment settings? As you lesson plan, consult the depth of knowledge wheel to craft your questions. Consider how you can provide access to questions of increasing complexity for students with varied levels of cognition, varied strengths, and varied disability classifications by using differentiated supports, such as offering concrete object choices, picture choices, multiple choice options with words, fill in the blank questions with word banks, etc. Consider how to adjust questioning techniques for in person and remote settings. So, the depth of knowledge wheel. At level one recall, we have arrange, repeat, recall, recite, define, calculate, state, tell, draw, identify, memorize, who, what, when, where, why, tabulate, recognize, list, label, illustrate, measure, name, report, use, quote, and match. At the level two skill concept level, we have infer, categorize, collect and display, identify patterns, organize, construct, modify, predict, interpret, distinguish, use context clues, make observations, summarize, show, graph, classify, separate, cause effect, estimate, compare, and relate. Level three, strategic thinking. We have revise, apprise, critique, formulate, hypothesize, develop a logical argument, use concepts to solve non routine problems, explain phenomena in terms of concepts, draw conclusions, cite evidence, assess, construct, compare, investigate, and differentiate. For level four, extended thinking, we have design, connect, synthesize, apply concepts, critique, analyze, create, and prove. You are questioning at a level one recall level anytime you ask students to identify pictures or words from a text read in person or in remote settings, label the parts of an example or item they learned about. Match pictures or items that are the same. Match pictures of objects to their names or match pictures of items that share similar attributes, which can be done virtually on Nearpod or in person with worksheets or concrete objects. Tell you something they learned using their primary mode of communication, whether that is verbal, gestural, or with picture choices. You are questioning at a level two skill concept level anytime you ask students to make an inference based on something they read or a picture or video they saw. Predict what will happen next. Students can do this spontaneously or with multiple choice options provided by the teacher. Use context clues to determine the meaning of a word. Make observations about a person, object, or picture. You are questioning at a level three strategic thinking level anytime you ask students to compare two or more texts they read, pictures they saw, or videos they watched to identify similarities and differences, cite evidence or show the location in a picture or a text where they determine the answer to a question. They can do this by circling or highlighting. They can even do this by touching or eye gazing if this would be more appropriate, and hypothesize what will happen in a scientific experiment with or without multiple choice options. You are questioning at a level four extended thinking level anytime you ask students to design their own version of something based on a model, connect new information they learned to something they already knew, create a new example of something they learned about. Students in alternate assessment settings will often talk to the teachers and staff in the class, but need prompting and assistance to initiate interactions with peers. A tool such as wheelofnames.com can make it fun for students to choose someone in the class to ask a question about the lesson. It can also help students determine what kind of questions to ask using different question stems. I will show you that after the presentation is done. And for students who require more support, you can include entire questions on the wheel and then have multiple choice picture options included either electronically or hard copy for the responder to each question. You can award students points in Class Dojo for participating in questioning or discussion techniques, and these points should ultimately be tied to rewards that are highly motivating for your students. So I'll show you some of the functionality of Wheel of Names now. So these are names that were automatically on the wheel. They're not my actual students' names, but you get the idea. You can have student names on the wheel. A student can spin, and it will land on the name of another student that they can ask the question to. You can also edit what is on um, the wheel. So, for example, I could put question stems or even full questions there. So a student spins the wheel, and then they have to develop a how question to ask their peer, or however you want to make the slices on the wheel. You can even incorporate, like I said, full questions. In Class Dojo, if Class Dojo is something you use with your students, obviously these are not my actual students, but you can create a category asking questions to peers, and you can award students points for that anytime they do this. And points should, of course, be tied to an engaging reward for your students eventually. So, this is another way to reinforce the behavior of discussing things with their peers and asking questions. So, just for review, we went over questioning and discussions techniques for students in alternate assessment settings using the DOK wheel and uses of Wheel of Names and Class Dojo to support student questioning and discussion. Thank you for watching.